3, 2, 1.
Infected with what?
Rage.
You what, governor?
That's how he says it, okay? It was an accurate quote. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast. Hello.
I'm Alex from IHE, and I'm drinking my cup of tea. Actually, I am as well. It's energizing me. I'm feeling good.
To be fair, you were doing Canadian all throughout your jar episode where you're talking about tips.
True.
It was like, sorry, eh? The entire...
Sorry, eh?
Exactly. So, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fair. I feel like, yeah, come on, you can make fun of the British accent all you want. I think that's totally fair. We're nuts over here.
I think I said it exactly how it sounds in the movie. I think that's exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, they got some really thick southeast London accents going on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We went to TIFF. We went to the Toronto International Film Festival.
Oh yeah. And it was so much fun.
And we were there for like a week and a half.
Yeah, it was like 10 days I was there.
It was dope. It was Alex's first time in Toronto.
Yeah, my second Canada trip, but first time in Toronto. Cool city. Really enjoyed it, actually. Yeah.
I'm glad
I loved all the different theaters we went to, all the restaurants, all the people we met. Yeah, it was awesome.
You saw Ralph for the first time. That was pretty cool. In person.
I know, yeah. We got that picture on Twitter by what was it, Michael's? Like a store I've never heard of.
It was late. It was like, where do we fucking take this photo? Oh, okay. I know what to do here. And then some random drunk guy wanted to be in the photo, and then I took a photo with him. I didn't release that one, though. Maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe you should. I kind of regret not joining you with that, but like my instinct was to kind of walk away from the stranger approaching the clearly on something or drunk as hell stranger coming towards us.
I mean,
like mumbling.
In any other city, like especially if I was in the United States, then I might be a bit more cautious. Not saying that Canada doesn't have crime. Not saying that Toronto doesn't have crime or anything. But I guess I'm less scared about things happening in Canada in general. So
yeah, that's fair.
I didn't completely lower my guard. I was still cautious in the sense that I didn't like go right up to him if he was going to try and like, I don't know, steal something. But I don't know
who knows?
I don't know. It's a weird ask to just be walking by and then demand to be in someone else's photo.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to
like,
trick
what was
us?
it, like 10, 11 at night?
Yeah, it was dark out. But, turned out fine.
Yeah.
Got a good photo out of it.
In saying that, though, I did feel very safe in the city overall. Even that night, like, I got lost at, like, 2 a.m. and I had to walk back to the Airbnb. Like, I felt fine, like, walking that way home. Like, I never felt in danger. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than, like, downtown Seattle. I did a movie trip solo, and then I came out of the theater knowing that I could just walk back to my hotel in 10 minutes, but I guess I didn't plan for it or think that the downtown would be as scary and just desolate and like nothing's there except the odd occasional like scary person that really looks like they want to fight. I'm like, okay, I just got to look scarier than them. I just got to look crazy. And it works. And I'm tall.
I remember that when we went to Seattle for those couple of days, like it was desolate. It was. Yeah. It was quite weird. No vehicles even. It was like quite is it 28
scary.
days later now? This is creepy. Yeah. By the gum wall and everything. Luckily we were in like a group at that time, but I wouldn't want to be alone for sure. Yeah,
in the middle of the night, it's like what are you going to do if you need help at any point? No one's around. Like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Toronto, it's like there's someone like 10 feet away at all times.
Yeah, there's cars everywhere, people everywhere.
Yeah, still alive at night in the downtown. Yeah, Montreal's got a very active nightlife as well. Drinking some Mountain Dew because I'm fucking overworked myself and I haven't been sleeping much. And so I'm like, well, let's get this caffeine up. And now I'm just thinking, it's crazy that we put this in our bodies. It's just, it's literally mystery. Have you got
like a crazy flavor or anything?
It's a literal mystery. It's the mystery flavor 2023 voodoo Halloween thing. I was told that it's the 5th one, and I was told that every other year it's been a candy. And so the reveal would take place like, I don't know, on Halloween or something. In the past 4 years, it's been dumb shit like Starburst, Skittles. It's like, that's not a flavor. They have like every Starburst flavor in one drink, and then you can't cross-reference it because you can't find them anymore after they announce the flavor. It's like, oh, you sneaky fucks. So what's this one going to be?
Ew, sounds gross.
It's dumb.
It's like fluorescent, is it?
It's dumb. It's got some caffeine in it. It's disgusting. I don't like it. It's dumb.
Yeah, it reminds me of my teenage gamer days. I remember winning like a copy of Halo 4 off a goddamn Mountain Dew drink. Mountain Dew.
A Dew drink?
Not good.
Drinking some
not
Dew.
Not good. I'm on my tea and coffee now. No more of the crazy drinks.
Mm-hmm. So Alex and I both posted, well, mine's not out yet, but I recorded it and it should be out soon, maybe by the time this episode of the podcast is public. We both posted and are posting more detailed reviews of the films we saw at TIFF on our own respective channels. Alex on his second channel, mine on my YMS channel. There'll be a big TIFF video. So we're not gonna go into detail about every movie that we saw right now. It would take too much time, and we already have those videos that we're working on. But I figure we should maybe mention a couple movies, and we'll save some in our pockets for when they get a wide release later in the year. Like, we'll probably want to talk about Dream Scenario when everybody else has seen it also, and they can want to listen to the conversation. Apparently November 10th.
And zone of interest too.
Yeah. Sure. So who knows when Aggro Dr1ft is getting a release, but it's not like a movie you can really spoil, and it's so dumb.
No,
like, is it getting released
so dumb
at any point? Because I'd buy a 4K Blu-ray, but
is there any point?
It's like, will it get released on like the Google Play Store for phones only? Is it one of these?
They're gonna put it on Shudder or something?
Because it's not a movie.
Where are you gonna hide this?
I don't know. I think Shudder is even, there's more legitimacy to that than like to put that on your platform.
Yeah, but where would you put it? Where does this film belong? I would argue nowhere except Movie Madness. That's the one place it belongs.
Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness. Yeah.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, Aggro Dr1ft or Drift is the newest Harmony Korine film, but it's not really a film. And it's the whole thing's in heat vision. They I guess rented some NASA cameras where it's infrared and it's like a heat map. And instead of doing anything interesting with it, they kind of just like filmed themselves getting drunk and twerking for 80 minutes.
That's right. Lots and lots of twerking, tons of twerking, heaps of twerking.
And just posing.
And saying the same dumb shit over and over again. What was he saying in the Q&A? He was like saying it's got a liquid narrative and it's like inspired by video games.
It's a piss narrative.
Like it's kind of like that synthwave kind of aesthetic. That's what you're trying to go for, I think.
It's the first trickle down movie.
When he was saying, like, when he was trying to justify it on stage, just like, I just want to say, like, shut up, man. Like,
pretty much.
You feel like no. Yeah,
I think he would like that. I think he's happy that he trolled everyone. He's got a little bit of Von Trier in him, you know.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that about it. I can appreciate the troll. Like, that's exactly how I felt, was that I was just being trolled for an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, people trickling out the theater. Like, it's just like, it's just like a big middle finger, like, an endurance film. Like, man. But every time I've, like, spoken about this movie so far, like I mentioned it on Joe, I mentioned it on this TIFF video I put up. Like, people are just getting more excited to see it. I feel like it's one of those. Yeah. But I'm telling you, it's the conversation outside of it that is the fun. Like, the actual movie, like, sucks.
I'd watch it again.
The movie sucks, man.
It's unique.
Maybe I would with some people. I don't know if I could sit through it myself. Like, I just feel like a dumbass, honestly. I just feel like I'm being...
Is that not what you want out of a A liquid trickle-down narrative.
I want to feel the contempt for the audience, like, seeping through.
It makes you feel better if you know other people are getting mad about it. So if you just remember the people that got more mad than you, then you feel fine.
Yeah, at least I made it to the end.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people couldn't say that.
Yeah. One guy stormed out and yelled. But he did make it to the credits. He just stormed out and yelled after the credits started rolling, which was very funny.
I wish I heard that guy.
Oh, yeah, he was right next to me. He wasn't very, like, he yelled, but he wasn't, like, you couldn't hear him throughout the entire theater or anything.
Yeah, over the cheering.
Yeah. True. Most of the movies we saw at TIFF were fantastic. You know, some of the best movies we've seen the entire year. Pretty much like my entire... If I were to make a top 10 list of the year right now, it would be like 8 or 9 of them would be just things I saw at TIFF. Always very happy with the programming, with the lineup. Aggro Drift is a bit of a meme, though, and I'm happy it was there. It makes sense for the Midnight Madness programming. I would rather have seen this film at TIFF in Midnight Madness than anywhere else. It made the experience a lot better.
I agree. And it was definitely the conversation piece of like the whole festival. It was the movie everyone had a strong opinion on. Yeah. And some people like genuinely love it. Like I saw Carsten's review on Letterboxd. He's giving it like a 4 star.
So he posted his full one?
No, just the rating. I don't know if he said a full thing yet.
Damn, but gotta pick his brain on that one.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, I'm sure he'll release a video or something, but...
yeah.
I mean, it's not... It's simultaneously brilliant and the stupidest fucking thing that's ever been made. Right? There is some brilliance to the film. It's not genius. It's not even a smart movie. But brilliance in the sense that it exists and someone is willing to put it out.
It's brilliantly stupid.
And someone is willing to show up and not be embarrassed enough to actually do a Q&A about the movie and introduce it.
Yeah, props to him for doing that, actually showing up. And then, like, after the movie was over, just coming on stage and he just played an entire song off Spotify for 3 minutes without saying a word. Like, that
was funny.
That's kind of the movie summed up.
Yeah, he put his phone up to the microphone and Peter Kaplowski is just there like... What are you doing?
Everyone just stunned silence, just like listening, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, waiting for something to happen.
Well, so I thought, I had a thought in my head. I was on stream talking about something and I thought like, you know, there's a lot of indie directors and I think we were talking about like the Marvels or something about some people are mad about her comments about the movie, and she's essentially trying to, you know, in something she's saying, it sounds like she's basically just saying like, well, I didn't have that much creative control, which is essentially just saying...
Whose comment? Sorry, the director?
The director of the Marvels or whatever.
Of the Marvels,
yeah,
okay.
I think she did the new... what's it called? The B horror movie? What's it called? Candyman? Candyman, right?
B-movie?
Is it the director of Candyman? Nia DaCosta.
Yeah, Candyman.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So apparently there's some quotes of her being, you know, talking about how she didn't have that much creative control and kind of got into a conversation about like, okay, well, if you're doing a fucking Disney Marvel movie, you can't expect to have that control. And when the movie's coming out, you want to just remember how to play ball. You're there to promote the movie. Don't do your whole like, oh, this movie sucks. And if I had it my way, it would have been better. Like, you knew what you were signing up for. Stop doing that shit. And so then I kind of thought about like, you know, if I got approached by Disney and they were like, make the next Marvel movie, here's a bunch of money, I think I might do it. Because, you know, who cares? It would help me fund other projects or whatever. In this hypothetical reality where I'm like an established director or something, or anybody that they would even want in this hypothetical reality. And then I thought about like, okay, so if I was in this situation promoting the film, I think I would just go full troll mode and just full sarcasm. I would be interviewed about the new Marvel movie and I would be like, I have changed how cinema is made. You don't understand what you're about to watch. It is going to change the landscape of everything. And then I realized this is what Harmony Korine did. I think that's what he's doing with the movie is he knows he's made something that's so dumb that his entire marketing campaign, and it goes beyond the Q&A that he had at TIFF. Like this is, apparently there's been a lot of viral marketing stuff that they've been doing for the film that I was not even aware of, where they're talking about, like, yeah, this is the thing that comes after movies. It's not even a movie anymore because it's like the next step. And experiences, bro. And it's like, I think that's just what happened is he went full troll mode, because if he was earnest about anything that he was saying, it would just be like, you know, I farted this out. We filmed what could have been a music video in like a day and then just kept all the footage.
Mm-hmm. yeah, definitely. I think you're a spot on there. Because of course, like Travis Scott is like a fairly big part of it, and I know that he's like on Instagram and stuff with like images from it, so that'll probably help the promotion of the movie. And honestly, I don't know, when I saw on IMDb that Travis Scott was in it, I was like, oh god, what is going on here? But like this Travis Scott bit is like the most hilarious part of the movie to me.
Yeah,
it was like, that's you like fit in perfectly with what they were doing here.
Yeah, wake up, do it, go to sleep, do it. And then you're still sleeping, still doing it. In your sleep doing it, do it.
Yeah, because thinking about it, like just that term liquid narrative, that is the kind of thing you'd come up with just to sound, you know, it's like it's levels to the troll.
Yeah.
You know, like some people like would hear that and be like, oh, liquid narrative, cool. It's like he's really pushing the limits here, but like behind the scenes, like chuckling at anyone repeating it because it's just so stupid.
Yeah, and so it's like, well, did we watch a film, or is the art piece the commentary on the audience? And like, is the art piece not the film, but the people that went to watch the film and people's expectations for what is considered a film or what movies are? And this is where we get into the level of brilliance, because we're actively trying to understand what the fuck happened here. and it's an interesting conversation with no clear answer that I would love to hear everybody's opinion on. And I would love to hear Karsten's talk about this movie. And I would love, you know, like I'm happy having a conversation about this movie. It's the polar opposite of like, I don't know, The Holdovers, where it's just like, fuck, Oscar bait, seen it before, whatever. You know, not a bad movie.
I agree.
Not a bad movie, but there's no conversation to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, you know, this is what I like about films. Is
it will get an emotional reaction out of you. Yeah. That's guaranteed, 100%. But that's what pisses me off about it, because it's like it's not an experiment like being put on YouTube, being put on TikTok. This is like,
no, that makes it better.
He's charging money for this. Like he's making money, like a ton of money from this. Like Travis Scott's in there. Like
it wasn't one of the more expensive tickets though. It wasn't like a fucking premium screening. That would have been funny if it was like $88 tickets. People were like reselling them for like,
that would be funny.
Oh, that would be so good. Reselling them for like $300, like Boy in the Heron or some shit. Somebody pays like fucking $500, gets to the movie, and it's like, I am the world's greatest assassin. I want to imagine them melting. Like that's the liquid narrative. Is their fucking soul being like melted in front of them.
We haven't even talked about the narrative. Like what happens? It's about like an assassin or something. Like what even happened?
It's a lot of insistence.
They go on a boat.
Yeah,
they didn't really do anything. There's like a fight at the end.
There's like 2 or 3 people that just keep repeatedly insisting what they do without doing it. Like Neil Breen, and he talks about how he's hacking into the government systems, and he's writing this book, and he's going to expose everything. And we never learn a single detail about it, but we just like, okay, we'll believe you, and you keep repeating it enough times, we'll believe you, I guess. That's exactly what's happened in this movie. He just keeps saying he's the world's greatest assassin without doing anything. And you know, the butt character, the butt is twerking.
Was it an actual person, or was that like an AI?
I think that was a person.
Really? Okay, because I couldn't tell, because there is like AI overlay. There's like a CG demon that keeps appearing.
Yeah, the CG demon, yeah. The way AI was used in this movie, I think it's just like when you start seeing weird little, the fucking do. When you start seeing weird little skull patterns like appear in the images.
Yeah, and the cogs and the gears and stuff.
Remember, it was like at least 5 years ago or something, Google released the first version of like some AI program, and it was called like Google Dreams, and everything looked like a dog's face or something. It's kind of like that.
So I forgot about that. Yeah.
They filmed an image and then ran it through like an AI thing with the theme of skulls, and then some skull things appeared in it. And it's not very advanced AI. Like, it's not even anywhere close to a lot of the cool stuff we've been seeing online recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nowhere close.
It's like technology from 5 plus years ago. So it's not the fact that they used AI in this movie is not even that interesting, and they could have not done it. The movie wouldn't have been different.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But it's, I guess, another one of those buzzwords that people can talk about and maybe get an emotional reaction out of.
Yeah, it makes it sound modern, like it's make people annoyed. Yeah, it feeds into the troll narrative or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, the thing that was really making this extra insufferable was that music, man. What they were doing with that music was like, it like hurt. It actually hurt. Like, not only were the visuals hurting, but the sound was hurting. Because like, I don't know about you, but after 25 minutes of looking at this imagery, it's like painful. Like, it's actually painful, and I don't mean that in like a hyperbolic way. Like, it actually like was hurting my eyes, which I can't really say about any other film I've seen before, like quite to this degree.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it actually hurts.
Gaspar Noé's Lux Eterna is what I think of when I think a headache movie, which Karsten also loved. So maybe we're getting onto something here. Maybe we're figuring it out.
He likes these brain damage movies.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant piece of art. The fact that we don't even know if it's anything is great. You know, because when you see a true piece of shit, it's just there's nothing to say about it. You can just be like, well, that was garbage, and you don't have this conversation. But to have this conversation and be like, is there anything about this that is substantive? And you don't really know. It's fucking awesome. It's so good.
I do love talking about the movie. I'll give it that. I will give it that. How stupid and dumb it is.
There's like 2 movies I've been thinking about since the festival. It was Aggro Drift and The Zone of Interest. So like one really, you know, actually fantastic movie that you're supposed to be thinking about, and one meme.
Yeah. Well, the other one that was lingering in my mind was, I don't think I spoke to you how you felt about it. Perfect Days. Like, I really love that movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really lingering in my mind. Like, simple premise, just executed extremely well to me. I really like that main character in there.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what everybody was going to think about it. I was doing some press screenings for people confused. So some of the movies I saw were at different times than what everybody else in the group saw. So I wound up, so that I could catch Fallen Leaves, I skipped the public screening of Perfect Days that was happening at the same time, and I saw the press screening of Perfect
Anatomy
Days.
of a Fall, right? You saw, right?
Yeah, I saw Anatomy of a Fall, which was awesome, that nobody else in the group got to see.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Ralph and I saw it. He got press, but
everyone else didn't.
Anyway, yeah, I did enjoy Perfect Days. I was kind of worried that it would be not appreciated in the group, but everybody seemed to enjoy it. You enjoyed it more than me. I'm not saying that I thought the movie was bad. I liked it a lot.
It's only growing on me.
Good.
So many great scenes, so many memorable observations, and quite quiet and understated though. So I get, like, it's definitely not for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a dependable genre for some people of just quiet Japanese movies, and this one was a little different. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't exactly like a Kareda film, but it's kind of in the same vein. Like, people that enjoy that type of thing will enjoy it more. Yeah, good sound design, very kind of meditative and relaxing.
Shot in 15 days, which is crazy.
Yeah, good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk more about TIFF movies on our respective channels. Go check those out. We'll have detailed reviews for those things, and we'll probably talk more about some of these movies as they get wider releases, as other people are having these conversations. I guess about the TIFF experience, there's something we kind of wanted to touch on because we hang out with a lot of content creator peers at the festival because, Amanda's there, Karsten's there, Ralph was there, et cetera, a bunch of people just showing up. And so naturally, having some conversations at some points in certain days, there was kind of a repeated theme of people talking about like fan interactions. And I'm all for it. I've got if you want to ask me for a picture, I'm like, yeah, I'll do the face. I'll say hi if you want to have like a short blurb conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that, something that would probably be a good thing to mention is that I think there's a good amount of people that mean well and are sweet and nice, but don't understand when they're kind of like intruding on someone's night or social circle, and if I'm in town and I only have like a limited amount of time to see my friends or family or people that I'm trying to meet, it's important that, let's say you're in line. I'm speaking to everybody in the audience right now. Let's say you're in line, you see your favorite content creator. If you're in line and you're kind of like stuck with them in line, as in you're both in the same place in line, probably, don't try to have a conversation the entire time because that's not a conversation that someone can just like walk out of because then you lose your place in line. And so try to be aware of situations where a person who doesn't know you, but you know them from their content or whatever, might be not wanting to have like a full long conversation and might not be able to explicitly directly say it because they don't want to seem like an asshole, because it's tough to have to say like, excuse me, I would really rather not like talk to you right now, because you don't know if someone's going to take it the wrong way and feel like hurt about it. Like that's the last thing you want, is for someone to feel bad.
Yeah. And it's like, it's such enthusiasm that you're being met with too. Like that's infectious. That's great. When someone's coming up to you and they're so excited to talk to you, and I love talking about movies and all this, but there is like that fine line, isn't there? Because you're so right.
Yeah.
Where it is, it's quite a one-sided dynamic in terms of these people know a lot more about us than we do of them, so it's kind of charged a certain way. And especially with like, as you say, like the schedule's packed, we're like knackered, we're like being on can be like a lot to maintain, especially over like 10 days or whatever. It can be it can get kind of awkward.
Yeah, there's a difference between it. I don't want people to interpret this in a way of like, oh, I only hang out with famous people, right? Like I'm talking about like me hanging out with my parents too, right? Like I'm there to see them too.
Yeah.
I don't want people to interpret it in that way, but there is a big difference between having a conversation with people that you're familiar with and you know each other equally as well, versus kind of being asked Q&A questions, right? So I do find myself having to be quote unquote on more if I'm having certain, if I'm just being asked questions by a fan or like, and obviously it means a lot to them, and obviously they're having like, the fucking time of their lives, and I'm happy that to make people feel better and have their day be brightened, et cetera, but there is a certain point where like I'm going, I do want to not be spending my entire time being on in like a night. So if you are a fan of anybody, whether it's me or Alex or Amanda, or Big Joel was there too, that was cool. Lily, they were awesome. They were fun. If you're a fan of anybody, you want to say hi to someone, feel free to say hi, unless there's like a content creator that explicitly says that they don't want to be talked to. But feel free to say hi. Feel free to ask for a picture. Feel free to have like a short conversation, but keep the conversation, I would say, under a minute if you can, just to, because even if you don't pick up on the social cues of someone not necessarily wanting to be continuing a conversation, I think it's just better and safe to be like, hey, just say, at the end of a 30 seconds, a minute or whatever, just be like, well, I was just saying hi, thanks. And if you can take the initiative of saying, okay, see you, bye, or whatever, then it'll make it so that the person who you're coming up to doesn't have to try to end the conversation or run away and appear rude, right? Like I don't like feeling like that, so I try to avoid that. And sometimes I get trapped in conversations with people that don't realize that they're trapping me in a conversation, and they might just be lacking like a social cue, and they're just probably having like the time of their lives being able to have this interaction. And that's fucking awesome. And I imagine myself, you know, talking to people that I'm a fan of, you know, to whatever experience to make things cool for that person in a way that I would appreciate. Mm-hmm. It's great, but try to be more more socially conscious, and also just safe in terms of, you know, you can, if you end the conversation, or at least check in and be like, hey, well, I guess I'll get going, or like, you probably want to do your own thing, right? And it's like, yeah, have a good, you know.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the majority of people were so good about it for the most part, you know. Yeah,
but all it takes is like a handful. 99%.
Yeah, because most people do kind of get that. Like they're walking by, they'll just shout out, "Oh, I love your videos, man," or something like this, and that's so fine. That's so cool. But yeah, it's such a fine line.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Don't be afraid to come up to me. Don't be afraid to say hi. Don't be afraid to ask for a picture. I don't care if you're socially awkward. I'm a fucking furry. I see it every fucking day. Right? You know, I love autistic people. It's not going to bother me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say hi. I'll snap a pic, whatever. Just, be careful to not trap people in conversations, especially, you know, some of the other content creators we talk to are, you know, really small, like physically. And I kind of feel bad for them. Like in terms of that situation, because they kind of just have, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Just keep it in mind. That's all we're saying. Like, you know, just keep it in the back of your mind.
Yep. 99% of interactions were fucking awesome. And even the ones that were bad, I'm not like upset at those people. I just, you know, want to...
No.
Do a little PSA to help. Not just I can tolerate it probably better than anybody else that I'm like a peer with at these festivals. So this is also me just helping other content. Like I want to help people that don't have the tolerance that I do. Some people just like really don't want to have those interactions. There was a really fun one where, and again, if you're listening right now, I don't care that you did this. I just thought it was really funny. The person that went up to Henry / Big Joel.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, do you want to tell it? Here, go for it.
So, yeah, I think we're in line for Dream Scenario or something like this. Or maybe it was after. I can't even remember. It's such a blur.
It was after a movie.
But yeah, I think you were in a conversation with someone, and someone clearly recognized you, but you were busy for the moment. But they also recognized Big Joel or Henry and went up to him and were like, basically, "Oh man, like your videos have been in my recommended. I haven't watched them, but I've heard they're good." Like I'm sure he meant it well and meant well by it, but it's like quite a strange thing to bring up to someone, and then it was kind of like, and then it's just so he could kind of say something in order to get to you. It felt like so, but Big Joe handled it very well considering.
A lot of people I think are intimidated by me when they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty nice. I don't know. So sometimes people will definitely use like other people in the group as like a way to like test the waters or something. And so he said hi to Joel, and then was like, "Can you actually hold the camera? I want to get a picture with Adam," which was fucking hilarious. I loved that.
Yeah. Maybe he just put his foot in his mouth. Maybe he didn't know how to navigate.
Yeah, you can't expect people to know how to handle.
Maybe he was a bit nervous. But like, just lie. Just say you like his videos. You know, like. You know?
I thought that was very funny. Funny.
It was hilarious. We're all joking about that after. Yeah.
No, and not in a way where if you're the person that did that you should feel embarrassed about it. I thought it was a funny, like, legitimately funny thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
It's just such a weird dynamic, you know. Like, there's no way to make it not weird on some level, you know. as much as it's appreciated and whatnot.
Yeah, and I understand that, and that's part of why I feel so comfortable with it. Life's fucking weird. Mm-hmm. Every interaction's fucking weird.
Exactly.
When you think about it.
Exactly.
Everybody's trying their best. Nobody knows what they're doing, and everybody's just trying to figure shit out. If somebody's a little socially awkward, who cares?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great festival, great vibes, great food, great city from what we experienced. Shout out to Stormcrow Manor, very cool nerd bar we checked out.
Yeah, I went there a couple times.
Some great restaurant stuff, and that Cabbagetown festival was cool. That we just serendipitously just fell into, basically, like didn't even know it was happening and just kind of walked into.
Yeah, that was like a scene from a movie, like coming out of the restaurant, and then there's all this live music playing and all this crazy different stalls selling all stuff. What was that thing they were giving out that you took a bunch of, like at one of the stalls?
Naloxone, which is the same as Narcan,
right.
And they were giving out like bags of the nasal spray and the injections so that if you're around, someone overdosing, whether it's on the street or it's a house party and someone did cocaine and it had like fentanyl in it or something, then you have the ability to potentially save their life. And this is like, many cities will just give this out for free at pharmacies. You just call them. It's not a bad thing to have, and we're in the middle of a, fentanyl opioid crisis. Many people overdosing are not even people that wanted to take an opioid, but it was just, a tainted supply of whatever else they were taking. And not a bad thing to happen. I'm kind of paranoid. I'm very in the mindset of like better have it and not need it than you need it and not have it.
Yeah, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, maybe one day I'll be the guy that saves someone. Maybe I won't have to. Maybe we'll just avoid that scary scenario in the first place. But yeah, they were giving out that. They were giving out free joints, free weeds.
Yeah, that was surreal. As a Brit just walking around like, here, have a joint that would send you to jail if you were caught by the cops in the UK.
Yeah, we're in Canada. It's
so
fine.
Crazy. Yeah.
People are just smoking weed at the festival, and it was outdoors. It's fine. Just smoke a joint everywhere.
But all the advertising is like, get a spliff for tiff and all this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Rosebud, the cannabis store we went into a couple times. I'm not very weed-esque. I'm not really a weed smoker, but Cat BF and anybody around me, wanted weed, I'm fine to.
Yeah, we had our fun.
Yep. While we were talking about something earlier, I spilled some dew on myself, and I'm pissed now that I can't wear these shorts today. I'm going to have to just wash them after.
This was sticky and gross, huh?
And I can't wash them now because the washing machine is so loud. I'll hear it through the recording. So, fuck.
Dribbling that shit everywhere.
I mean, it was just a tiny bit, but I hit I accidentally hit the can on the bottom of my microphone, and then just, I got dude.
Fuck, you got dude.
I got dude. Time for the film recommendation. It's 28 days later. Take it away.
Yeah, so it's another Danny Boyle double bill. Is that the only other Boyle stuff we've done on the cast before? We did Trainspotting 1 and 2 before.
And we did the other one. His first one.
That's right. Oh, man. I'm blanking on it now. The one. Oh man, I'm so tired.
I remember what the poster looks like.
Shallow grave. Yeah. So we talked about him a little bit, but this is a slightly more contemporary one. The 2002 film 28 Days Later, kind of Danny Boyle's and Alex Garland, writer's take on the zombie genre. Set in London, starring Cillian Murphy as the lead. I mean, like, you don't really need to describe much of the plot. It's a zombie movie. Instead of going for the kind of shambling take, they interpret it as the rage virus, they call it. They never really use the term zombie or any of this kind of stuff like The Walking Dead or this kind of thing. And yeah, it was kind of it's definitely a Danny Boyle interpretation of a zombie flick. And this was like a big one in my rotation when I was younger.
Same.
I really enjoyed this movie as a kid. We'll get onto the sequel later, but I had a great time revisiting this. Yeah, I love that, the way it ebbs and flows. I love the style. There's a lot to talk about in terms of that early digital photography, and access is weirdly limited for this movie. It's not on any streaming platform. You can't buy it on iTunes or anything. I don't know
you'd think
why.
that we'd be in a fucking point in time where any movie you could just like find on a streaming service.
Right? Especially,
anywhere.
it's not like it's a niche film. Like, it's pretty famous, you know?
Just
it's got
license
like
it
500,000 ratings
Who
on
owns this shit right now?
IMDb. It's
Searchlight, right?
Yeah.
Disney's fault?
I think so. Probably, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's Disney's fault.
Yeah, made on a budget of $8 million for 2002, which is, fairly low considering the scale of the production and the stuff they're showing off. Adjusted for inflation, that's around like 14 million, which would still be low for now, I would say. I suppose we should probably start there with the look of the film, to be honest. It's one of the more notable things, because I was kind of... I hadn't seen this film in a while, but a lot of the discussions I'd heard about it were like, yeah, it was shot on these Canon XL1 camcorders, which are literally like 250 quid on eBay now.
Nice.
But at the time, they would have been like new emerging technology, but it kind of limits the film in terms of like, you're not really going to get a 4K version of this unless they do some like upscaling stuff or whatever. But it doesn't actually affect it as much as I thought. It kind of enhances it in a way to me. It kind of helps with the style of the movie. I like the low-res kind of grimy look of it, and it definitely helped get the film made because, there's all these really ambitious, like empty shots of Murphy walking through central London, these really recognizable, iconic locations with no one around, with, So basically what they're doing is just shutting down the streets at like 4 a.m. And unlike with film cameras that take like such a exorbitant amount of time to set up, the digital cameras could be set up in like, I think it was like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
They could whip up a scene and like really just get to work and film something quickly. Get the shot and
leave.
Exactly.
Not go bankrupt.
Yeah. So it was like a really efficient production in terms of that. And it kind of... They leaned into it as far as the style's concerned. It does, it hides any flaws you might notice otherwise if it was in like in film. I'm sure you'd see more blemishes, but it really helps the style. It makes it feel more guerrilla, more grimy, more realistic. Using all these different interesting techniques like shooting a lot of the action sequences in like a higher frame rate, a type of slow motion, with this really stylized action, which has like quite an interesting effect, and especially towards the end with the whole army camp and Murphy going around like almost becoming a rage type creature without even being infected, and like using these similar shooting styles to shoot him for all this action to like give these parallels. Stylistically really interesting, and all these different like character actors coming in and out. I completely forgot Brendan Gleeson has a fairly major role. I loved seeing him again.
When I watched this when I was younger, and there was a lot, it was before I really knew who he was. So me revisiting the film this time, I was like, oh, because now he's like a huge actor, Oscar nominated.
Yeah. And like, man, there's so much to praise with this movie. Like, I love how quickly it just gets into it. The opening scene with the ape attack in the lab. It just does not mess around. It gets straight to it.
Oh, yeah. The opening scene's fucking incredible.
Tropes.
It's so iconic. Yeah. There's so much about this movie that's just stuck with me. And it could be just because of how many times I watched it when I was younger. But I don't know. There's like me, whenever I think of food going bad, I think of like the guy saying the eggs were, what was the word? British kind of slang for saying that they were off. The eggs were off. I don't know if that's
gone
British.
Off. Yeah. Gone off. Yeah. That is. Yeah. The eggs are off.
Yeah. I think about that for some reason.
Well, it's got lots of like really memorable locations and settings, be it like the flat and the high rise with the exactly. Yeah. And it's strung together in a really it flows very well from set piece to set piece. They're all memorable. Like when Killian goes back to his family home, and it's like really kind of sad and brutal. They don't hold the punches, like finding the parents and that really nicely written letter saying like, now we're sleeping with you. I hope you don't wake up. It's like, oh my God.
Literally just don't wake up. It was like a command.
This is horrifying.
Yeah. It's very poetic, and it's a really incredible message to just put there for the film. And I like that narratively, a lot of films like this, I think there would be a temptation of trying to have his parents be zombies and him having to kill his parents or something. Mm-hmm. I like that he got that kind of resolution, and I like that it was sad in that way. I thought that was just a good choice narratively. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of actually really memorable imagery. I love the image of all the Tupperware on the rooftop.
Yep.
When they're trying to collect the water. And he's like talking about how on TV, he was like, I saw about how to collect water on TV, but it doesn't really work because he's
can't figure out how to do it.
Just on TV. He's not, he can't really figure out how to get it working. Mm-hmm. They're driving around like a classic old London taxi. It's quintessentially British in like every way possible. They're like really thick accents. I love when Cillian Murphy's like, this is a really shit idea. Like just being as candid as possible. It's like a really realistic, awesome, approach to the dialogue and the performances and everything. It never feels too Hollywood or over the top. It's always believable to me. They never really take it anywhere too far that pulls me out of it, like a lot of other zombie films from this era do. Some other kind of notable things. Obviously, this came out in 2002, meaning it was just post 9/11. And there was, at the time, there was some controversy around the beginning when Killian's walking through the city and he doesn't really know what's going on. He finds a wall, like a missing person's wall. And some people found that to be distasteful, even though it was shot before 9/11.
Of course. A lot of...
And some of these things you just can't help.
America brain.
Yeah. But it's almost like part of the zombie genre in a way, because the noughties do have this quite strong association with like zombie flicks outside of the older Romero stuff, this is obviously inspired by. There was the Snyder, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, I Am Legend, Wreck, Resident Evil, House of the Dead, Planet Terror.
There's a billion.
Yeah, and there's this. Exactly. There is this idea that it is almost like a response to 9/11 and these rising fears of the internet and this ongoing virus that's affecting everyone. It's quite a prescient thing that just everyone can connect to. Everyone can just immediately be frightened of. Of course, the virus aspect as well has like a new meaning to us now, living through like a pandemic and that whole angle. I love how quickly things happen in the movie, like just like how fast the movie gets going. The infection itself, what do they say? It takes 10-20 seconds. And that really adds an inherent tension.
Yeah, and that's communicated immediately at the beginning. It's just like she gets bit by the monkey and then whoops. Like just immediately, which adds a particular layer of fear to the entire experience of the film and the world building and how these things operate. Very clearly communicated and very fucking terrifying, because especially at the time, I think this was the first zombie film where they were fast, like where you could run. Yeah. I think this might have been the
much
first. Scarier. If not, it heavily popularized it.
It definitely popularized it, yeah. I think that took a part in the hiring process too. I think a lot of the rage-infected people were like gymnasts and people who were very good with their bodies, so it gave them this extra physical intensity that is horrifying, because you can insert yourself into one of the Romero shambling zombie movies and be like, I reckon I could do something about this, but these guys, I don't know. I don't think.
No, you're screwed.
There's a big crowd of them.
You're like actually
done.
fucking screwed. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Romero zombies, exactly. You just like chill somewhere, just walk faster. There's a lot of things you could do about Romero zombies, but these fucking not zombies or whatever, the infected, whatever we want to call them, infected with the rage virus or whatever, fucking who cares? It's much more terrifying. And I also want to point out, like, that church scene is still fucking terrifying. It doesn't matter how many times I watch this movie. That's just absolutely terrifying for me. The faces that they make when they're woken up, and that insane, intense kind of like feral, like, wow, like the eyes. I can't. It's burned into my.
That's probably the scariest shot in the film.
Yeah, and I love how this is pretty consistent throughout the film. They really know how to edit these scares in a way where it's scarier that it's quiet. It's scarier that there isn't a loud noise. It's scarier that they're running up silently behind someone. And sure, there are jump scares in the film, and sure, it does get loud at points 100%, but the most terrifying parts, and I think the film is aware, are the ones where it's quiet and there's action happening.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't rely on it, for sure.
Yeah, this is a spoiler discussion, by the way, everybody. The jump scare while he's watching at his parents' house while he's watching the film on the projector, that it's such a perfectly edited, perfectly presented scare, because you're kind of, it's not only just the misdirection of focusing on the projector and kind of being interested in that, but how they introduce that there's a zombie outside. You only see it from the zombie's perspective. You only see a shot of, like, the camera turning towards the house, and you don't even really know what you're seeing at first because it's happening so quickly. And then one more shot of Cillian Murphy inside, and then immediately the prospective zombie is already running towards the house, and you're still, like, kind of piecing things together. Like, it doesn't give you enough time to fully comprehend what's happening until it's already happening, and then it gets loud. But the truly terrifying moments of that is when it's quiet. And then same goes with when he's in the diner and the kid's, like, running up behind him. Like, it's not loud until it's already up in his face, right? You see the running up behind, and I love that as a choice. It's way more terrifying that something's actively becoming a danger, and it's gonna affect you in, like, I don't know, half a second, and you have half a second to realize that that's what's happening. And the fact that it's not, that there is no, like, extra loud, like, bing, like, when the audience notices, or when the audience is supposed to notice, or, like, something's walking in the background, all these fucking dumb horror cliche tropes. Not saying that there's zero cliches or tropes in this movie, but it's way more respectful and way more sensible in terms of how it's edited and presented overall. And I just think that Danny Boyle's style as a director, like, he has a very great comprehension of how he puts together his films, and especially how they're edited. The editing is always a huge voice in his films. Obviously, a lot of really creative camera work going along with that, but he knows how he's going to communicate the experience. He's pretty aware of that as he's making the film, and I love that we get to just see this really fine-tuned combination of different elements working together. Soundtrack, visuals.
And I was really appreciating that, especially during the more frantic action sequences where machetes are being swung, where there are close-up bites. It's kind of confusing, but you can, I don't know, you're never bamboozled. You can follow what's happening to who's happening to what, and unlike the sequel, you can just tell what's going on, even though it is frantically edited. There are quick cuts, there are a lot of close-ups during these action scenes. You're always there with the characters. You're never lost in the action. Which is really, really awesome. Very strong visual style, and it complements the film and the tone too. I don't care that a 4K version of this won't ever exist and wouldn't even make sense unless we get to the point where it's like AI upscaling something. But even at that point, would I want that? I don't know. I'd be curious to see what it looks like. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Like the roughness is part of it. It's
Yes.
definitely like all baked in. It's not like they were just playing around with this new tech just for the fun. They actually they saw.
It wasn't an aggro drift.
Yeah.
The new reference point for every film.
yeah. On the scale of it, like there's like a whole petrol station that gets like exploded, and there's all this pyrotechnics with the zombies being set on fire. And it's like, man, they show all of Manchester on fire in the background, and it still looks like excellent because it's obscured through this this old ass digital camera that's all implemented in such a like thoughtful, interesting way.
Yeah. Pretty much all the effects look great. I can't think of a really bad one at all, and lots of practical effects. Obviously, the way that the makeup is done on these characters is fantastic. I also love they cast
the gore.
Yeah, they obviously cast certain people that were like, I don't know, anorexic or have some sort of condition to play the starving zombies at the end. It's like you didn't need to like digitally create that. You can literally just cast people that look like they're dying. They have like beard and long hair and stuff, and like, wow, it's really visually striking throughout. I
like the music choices too. Having some Brian Eno in there, having the original score woven in. Yeah, it really gives it the, I don't know, it always feels like it's a Danny Boyle movie. It never gets like lost in the tropes, never gets lost in the zombie silliness quite as much. It's just
So the song by John Murphy, "In the House in a Heartbeat," that plays near the end, just one of the most iconic pieces of music from any soundtrack ever. Literally, a lot of people will recognize this song even if they haven't seen this film because it's been used in so many different films and commercials, and like it's pop culture. It fucking Kick-Ass in 2010.
It's just in Kick-Ass.
Just decided to reuse the track as if it were written for that film, and that pisses me off.
I think Murphy did the score for it.
Pisses me off. I know Murphy did the score and he was credited. It's not like they ripped off and didn't, it's not like he didn't get paid or whatever. But damn, I don't like it being associated with that film. Not only because it's a worse film and I just don't care for it, but because you're getting you if somebody watches the films in the wrong order because they're not attached to each other narratively at all, then someone can already be familiar with that song before they see 28 Days Later. It won't have the exact same impact. They'll be like, oh, I already know this song, or oh, why am I thinking of Kick-Ass now? I don't like how it's associated in that way. And I think that's kind of just like lazy and lame for Kick-Ass to do that. And for a movie that's not even fucking 10 years old. If you want to take from some unknown Italian random film scored by Stelvio Cipriani in the 70s and reuse that in your new movie or something, who cares? But like a big movie from 2002 and like one of the best songs ever for like a movie soundtrack, like one of the most effective.
That is a weird choice.
Pisses me off. Not a big fan of Kick-Ass.
No, me neither. But that piece of music is like on the same level to me as the song from Requiem for a Dream.
It's exactly the same in terms of like how it's culturally impacted.
Exactly.
And been reused.
And it was like in every YouTube video early days. It was always in these trailers. It's like so part of pop culture.
It's ingrained
awesome stuff
into our culture, and for good reason. Like it does. We'll talk about the sequel in a bit, but it's clear that the music does a lot of the heavy lifting, and at the very least in this first film, what we're seeing along with the music is impactful and important enough and intense enough and well shot enough and well acted enough that even without the music, you're still seeing something pretty intense and cool. But with the elements combined, the emotional experience when that song plays, and a lot of other songs in the soundtrack, great soundtrack choices throughout, it's just a really powerful and memorable emotional experience that just sticks with you. And I guess especially us, because we watched it a fucking billion times when we were a kid or something. So.
Yeah, just like the more I'm talking, the more I'm remembering the set pieces with, the rats, or maybe the most memorable shot in my mind was when Brandon Gleeson is like having a go at that crow who's eating the body, and then it's the droplet
Yeah.
The perspective of the droplet falling into his eye.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, it is a great shot. And like
good choice.
Kind of an emotional moment too, because he's like maybe the warmest character in the movie. Brendan Gleeson. He's like the father of the daughter, and it's like, oh man, he's got to go out like this. Yeah.
He wasn't in the movie very long. It sucks they take him away so quick.
Yeah, which I don't know. That kind of leads me into something that like was, I don't know, really bugging me about this movie. I just cannot get over.
I already know what you're going to say. She
Megan
fucking
Burns,
sucks.
the daughter Hannah.
She stinks.
What is the deal? I have a theory as to why that.
Bad. Is she related to someone? Yeah. Is this nepotism? Like, what's going on?
No, I think it was more. I looked up. She's from Liverpool, and they have a very, very thick accent in Liverpool, but I don't know. They made her try and do a southeast London accent, which she clearly couldn't do, because I could hear like little stints of the Liverpudlian accent sneaking through every line she was saying. So I was like, what? That definitely didn't help the performance. And maybe the acting wasn't good to begin with. So it was like, yeah, I don't know. Like it's such a shame, because that's really the big weak spot in the movie for me.
It's the biggest
she's
weak
like
spot.
Kind of a crucial character. She's such a crucial character to like the whole like way the movie wraps up with the army guys at the end, and yeah, the whole
she stinks
dynamic with him and his daughter. Like,
so she's really been in 3 movies, and then now she's doing like music, like two movies and a short she acted in. It's not for her. It's not for her. 28 Days Later was like the last thing she acted in that was like a feature. I don't know why she got cast.
Yeah, because everyone else is particularly good. Like Naomi Harris, like she's a really intense character. Like her introductory scene where she just takes that guy out.
Hell yeah,
he's bitten
great character,
without
great
hesitation. It's like sets her up. She's like a really cool, strong character, and her dynamic with Killian's really, really awesome. But yeah, that daughter, man,
the worst.
No. I'm like, no, it's not hyperbolic. It's like
the worst, the absolute worst.
Not even a single good line delivery, I don't think. Like,
Never.
It's genuinely that distracting.
Not one. I just wanted her to shut up every time she opened her stupid mouth. She's like, what was that line that she says, like, right before they leave the apartment and the music starts playing and they're about to, like, do the taxi and they're doing, like, the Ave Maria rendition. And it's like, you're ending the scene and leading into something else, and like the line itself sounds like it's supposed to be meaningful or poignant, and she's just like, well, you need us, but we also need you as much as you need us, so the friend got to be together. It's so I'm just like,
she's got there's loads of those.
I get so mad.
Well, like when she's at the dinner table, like talking about her dad. My dad died, by the way. It's like, oh my God, fuck.
Well, like, fucking think about when it's happening right in front of her. Like, literally, she's there. She witnesses his death. She's like, Dad. Dad.
Why are you doing that, Dad?
Dad. Dad.
It really is such a shame.
I don't believe a single fucking word coming out of her mouth. I don't believe a single fucking word. Yeah. I don't believe anything she says throughout the entire fucking movie. She's like, I wrote down one of her. Yeah, they have the part where they discover that the female lead has Valium and they're about to sleep, and she's like, I can't sleep. I'm like, I don't believe anything you're saying. And then she's like, can I, Dad, please? Like, you're. What are you doing? What do you do? I don't believe a single fucking word. Like, you're being very generous talking about it, like as if the accent is it's like maybe the culprit.
I was just
here.
Looking for any reason. Like what? Like why?
That's not the biggest problem with her performance. The biggest problem with her performance is that she can't fucking act. Who cares about that? Even if her accent was completely different, it wouldn't fucking matter. She can't fucking act. It's awful.
It's crazy. I don't know. It really is such a shame.
Yeah, and then otherwise, like
that's like a really intense scene. When Naomi Harris has the drugs, and it's like, it's just so you won't care what's about to happen to you.
Yeah,
so, oh my God, this is brutal. But she really pulls you out of it whenever she has to give her reaction or especially deliver dialogue.
I get okay with her performance when it's at the point in the movie where she's high out of her mind anyway, and I'm like, okay,
Does she have a reason?
It's like maybe that's why they cast her. It's like,
well, she has there's the good scene with when she hides behind the mirror, but that involves no dialogue. Yeah, that is a shame. That's the big sore spot for me.
you just kind of have to ignore a lot about her for it to work.
Which is very difficult. It's
Sad.
very difficult because she's in like a majority of the movie. So.
Yeah, fucking should have been her instead of what's his name, Frank? I don't remember.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that would have been better.
Because all the caliber of the actors that she's acting against too. You have Brendan Gleeson, Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, Christopher Eccleston, who comes in later as the major. These all like tenured like really professionals right here that are really selling the dire situation, and she just seems like this random Liverpudlian girl who is just plucked out and clearly not selling it.
She is the only performance that I don't believe. Every other performance I believe.
Yeah.
There's no single other performance in the movie that I don't believe. And she is just so consistently bad that I just pain. What do you think about the I guess the whole set piece of the military thing from that point into the end of the movie?
I have a couple issues here and there, like with I like the overall kind of arc of where it goes, but like when Cillian Murphy's like teleporting around the base, it's like just on the border of being a bit too silly for me.
It is kind of dumb.
Before that, it's like way more believable.
At least we got a good song.
I was reading like I was reading supposedly what was written in the script was not working. So Boyle, Cillian, and Garland, I think quite quickly came up with this way to wrap it up, and it does kind of feel that way. Because it is dark in a way, and it's doing the classic kind of zombie trope of the people, the humans are almost more to fear than the virus or the rage itself, because it is like a horrifying conclusion that they reach. Christopher Eccleston saying about I promised them women and all this kind of stuff. It's like vile.
He's like, this is normality. It's like
like trying to justify it and being like,
we're just shooting people. It's people killing people. Get up, do it.
It gives
go to sleep, do it.
Yeah, exactly. It gives Cillian Murphy like a good motivation, I guess, to get that revenge, but also like how they have to get there is kind of clunky, when they take Cillian out into the woods, and I was confused as it was happening. That's like the one bit of action I was kind of confused, but like how does he actually escape from them? There's like
they look the other way for some reason. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think maybe
it's kind of a messy sequence.
Maybe one of the other characters screamed or something, and then they both looked away, and he just ran. It is weird and it is dumb. I love the music that comes with it. It still makes for like some great, memorable sequences. But I also noticed that I think it's the longest they stay in one location the entire movie, and you're kind of just there until the end of the movie, where every other scene is just so quick, and you're in a new location right away, and that's part of what really helps with the pacing. And you're kind of just settling down, and the movie's kind of just ending, and it's not boring. It's not so it doesn't make me want to shut it off before the movie's over. I still want to see it through to the end, but it is a drop off from the beginning. Still just a really great film overall, and it's incredible just how much of a cultural impact this movie had. And it's still going to be in my rotation of just things that I watch every few years or however long, because there's so much great stuff in it. There's so much valuable material within this film that it can have some flaws and it's still fine.
Speaking of that that end sequence, there is a part in there I do actually really love. When he does escape and he's looking through the trees and he just sees the plane.
Oh, yeah.
It's this symbol of hope, and kind of undoes it gives him a really strong motivation and
the song,
reason to fight on. And combined with the song, that's a great moment. And I don't even mind the once all that's wrapped up and it cuts a little bit after he's shot, and they're in that little cottage, and it's sort of implied a bunch of time has passed, and the jet's flying over, and they make the little sign for it, and it's kind of a happy ending, which supposedly also wasn't in the original script. It was like a more miserable kind of ending. Because I feel like this kind of story, it is hard to wrap up. You're not always going to be able to have something satisfying and ambiguous like a Last of Us, which is like, I don't know, that's quite a knocking it out the park kind of way to
very
end
few endings
sort of stories.
That good.
Yeah,
in any
exactly.
piece of media.
Whereas, so it's more the ride. It's how you get there. It's really about that first act for me. I love when he's like wandering around in the hospital gown. There's that awesome shot with the smiling billboard in the background. It's just I love how inventive and creative and kind of scrappy all that stuff is, and
great
all
music.
the sets, and I love all that. So I can forgive the kind of clunky way it wraps up, especially because a lot of those soldiers are quite memorable characters too.
Yeah, I love them.
They when they introduce, there's like a sudden insert of humor going on. They're talking about like, you muppet, you're still waiting for Marks and Spencer to reopen, all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, this is like really hilarious, like hearing this stuff, like especially as a Brit myself. Yeah, what do you want, a fucking sweetie? Like hearing all this kind of slang and whatnot. It's like funny, which makes it more brutal when it turns and their true motivations are kind of revealed. There is something sickening about that. But I agree. It is overall like an excellent zombie flick. One of the best. And I guess we can do ratings. I'm giving this one a 8 out of 10. I think that despite its flaws, it is still really great. Also, I forgot to mention they apparently they shot that end sequence on film and not digital. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know why necessarily. So maybe there could be a 4K just for that scene. Yeah, it doesn't really matter for that scene either. Yeah, exactly. They don't need to be scrappy. It is like a new lens over it, I suppose, because they're more hopeful. There is a happiness to it. I'm like just a tad I'm like a really about as low as an 8 out of 10 can be, a 4-star, because like it is a clunky way to wrap up, and that daughter character, man, like it'll be a very strong 8 out of 10 without her, I feel like, but that it really does injure the movie in a way that is regretful. She stinks. It's fucking like what? Give it 10 years, we'll be able to AI replace her. Okay, we'll have the perfect. We can just make little tweaks, get rid of her. Just have like Bella Ramsey play her or something. Nathan Fielder. Use the AI to do it. Dad. Like I can imagine him doing it actually pretty well. Like the way that she speaks is basically the same as if him doing his flat, thing like crazy. I wonder if they knew on set like what level it was. The apartment scene. I'm just imagining. Oh God, people, you gotta keep a list of all the things that I want you to replace with Nathan Fielder, and 10 years in the future, we will have the technology, and there will be like a great catalog of films. I'm just imagining him like at the end of the apartment scene with that Ave Maria cover like starting to play. He's like, "You need us more than we both need each other." Like that's I can just imagine him saying it right now, just in the Nathan for you kind of pitch voice. Bruh. Great film. Okay, is it time? Is it time for the sequel? Yeah, I guess it's time for the other one. Yeah, the other one. This is interesting to me, right? Because like I was so impressed with how 28 Days Later it aged, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's aged like a fine wine. Whereas 28 weeks later, it's aged like milk. Holy crap! I was kind of shocked because I don't remember it being like this.
So bad.
I definitely didn't watch it as much as Days, but 28 weeks later, 5 years after 28 Days later was released, we have director Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, a Spanish director who I'm not really familiar with. I've not seen anything else from him, and 3 writers who I'm also not familiar with. No Alex Garland, which definitely shows. Man, what a crazy missed opportunity here. Also a shorter runtime, only an hour 40 for this.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, true. So like the plot is basically just like an elaborate excuse to do the first movie again. It's like so dumb. they there's a time jump that explains that the zombies basically all died of starvation at a certain point. There's this elaborate opening scene with Robert Carlyle and his wife in this cabin during the heat of the infection, the heat of the rage virus. And he leaves her, and it leaves this character guilt-ridden. And it's even that has its problems, honestly, that opening scene with like this little boy showing up. Just the execution of it is kind of muddy, even though I think Danny Boyle actually directed a lot of that scene.
Oh, yeah? Uncredited?
Yeah. Because he was also a producer on the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one piece of involvement, I'm pretty sure.
That's probably why it's like half competent then.
It's definitely the best part of the movie is that opening, and it does a good job of establishing that Robert Carlyle character, but to me that's the most obvious glaring flaw is like they establish this character, they give him the stakes, they have this wife character who you think has died in the opening credits, but through just these stupid, dumb events, Robert Carlyle's children who were away, I think they were on holiday in Spain, they mention, for the outbreak, so they were kind of protected for that time. They've sectioned off part of London that is clear of the virus, but all around it there are zones that haven't been cleared yet, so I don't know why they're bringing children to that environment to begin with anyway. Really dumb. But the kids, of course, have to be kids in a horror movie and go and escape into the danger zone where their house was, and they find the mother there.
For no reason at all, and they've only the only thing that they've been told the entire movie is just, hey, just don't like go outside the zone. They're like, we're gonna sneak out. Meanwhile, it's being surveilled by like snipers, and they're just like, well, they just happen to know the one spot near the bridge or something where, like, I don't know, where the sniper's not looking at noon. Like, I don't. They didn't even go out at night, didn't they? They went out like in the middle of the fucking day.
No, it was the middle of the day. They like drive a moped around. Yeah, really dumb.
Like, how do you expect to get back in, assholes? What the fuck are you doing? Can a zombie just sneak in?
But speaking of The Last of Us, that's kind of how they explain how the mother survived. She's kind of like Ellie in The Last of Us, a carrier. She's not affected by the virus in the same way, which kind of an interesting idea, an impetus of a good idea could be explored there, but it's more just an excuse to get the story to a place where they can have another outbreak in London, basically.
And why didn't they just fucking eat her? Okay, we saw the zombies break into the room. Mm-hmm. Just because she isn't affected by the bite in a way that would make her turn into a zombie doesn't mean they wouldn't fucking kill her. Like what happened with the husband. Immediately when like he kisses her, so dumb. He kisses her, he gets the virus. They could have done with
another flashback,
yeah. I mean, who cares if there was a flashback? It just obviously there was no logical reason for that to happen.
No.
Right,
but that's the thing. It's like some of these things, I don't know. They could have been cleaned up, and some of these things could have been okay in my mind. But it's just so weirdly paced. This movie, like by the 35-40 minute mark, like anything they'd established is kind of thrown out the window. Like they kill Robert Carlyle, they kill the mum character, and I guess you're supposed to be invested in the kids, but it's kind of like the first movie where neither of them are particularly good, especially that little boy. And they got to carry all these scenes.
They are about 20 times better than fucking Hannah, though.
Oh yeah, they are better, but they ain't great. It's just like the whole impetus of the story is like abandoned. and there's like nothing to care about. You're supposed to. Jeremy Renner is kind of becomes the main character at a certain point. He's like the army sniper who has a sympathy for the kids and won't shoot at them, and like decides to try and help them out of the new outbreak that starts happening. And the way the outbreak kind of happens is, it's like, what is going on? Robert Carlyle's he kisses his wife who's like strapped up in the bed. There's no security anywhere, and
not under any sort of surveillance, not being watched by anybody.
No surveillance,
no cameras,
and then
anything.
like he's running through hallways infecting all these heavily armed soldiers who somehow don't see him coming and don't put him down, and it turns into a whole epic scale craziness, even though like the whole half an hour prior they go out of their way to show how the US military has a presence. Idris Elba plays like a military general guy, and there's like guns everywhere. There's like
they're the most incompetent ever.
Yeah, it's like, what? This is so annoying and dumb. Like the way they if you think the ending of 28 Days is clunky with how they get to that conclusion, this is something else. Like it's schlock. But by the time you got like the helicopter pilot like flying through crowds of zombies, eviscerating them, it's like this is pure schlock right here. This is like dumb. This is so stupid.
Very.
It's kind of like it feels like a Hollywood interpretation of like, if like a Hollywood team sees 28 Days Later and it's like, we can do that. Let's do that. That's how it feels, you know, the CG planes and helicopters flying around and all the, like, it's just taking all the wrong stuff and trying to, just missing the whole stylistic flair and kind of subtleness of that first movie, and just really, really missing the ball.
Yeah. I'm pissed off. Well, so, like, this is a film that was really well received at the time.
Yeah. And it's actually got a higher Metascore than the original.
Yeah. Somehow. And there's a bunch of people, a not insignificant amount of people, that like this better than the first movie. And I don't know if they would still say that today. Yeah. Maybe they haven't watched it in a while, but there's like, you go through IMDb, you can see some of the reviews on there from like 2007 and 8 or whatever. People are, at the time, this really worked for people. Yeah. And I remember feeling alone watching this and not having like a huge love for it. Because I remember watching it and being like, not really getting much out of it when I was younger. People were like, what are you talking about? It's like the best. I'm struggling to understand what people got out of it, or if it's just the weird like sort of military boner and all the like cool chat dialogue and all the dumb cool music or something. Like, is that what really connects with people? I'm not sure. Or here's another explanation. That fucking music that they use 3 or 4 times.
I was laughing at that.
Yeah, it's embarrassing how they use it as a crutch. And in the opening scene, it's like, just try to imagine the opening scene without the music. It's not like the worst thing ever. Like the opening scene still is fine, and there's really intense imagery, you know, those zombies running over the hill and him like barely making out. Like, most competent part of the entire movie easily. Yeah. But the way that they keep repeating that song, which in the first movie only got played once at the very end, remember? This film, they're literally just use it, like they're spamming it, because without it, the movie isn't. You're really not going to get that tone. You're really not going to get that much out of the scene in most of the scenes that they use it in. It is a insane.
Apparently, it's the same composer. I think it's still Murphy, but apparently he only had 2 weeks to score it.
Wow, definitely shows. He did the rest of the music too. I was shocked. So, yeah. That's shocking, because I would have assumed by hearing it that it was someone else that did the music and they were just trying to emulate John Murphy's style. Yeah. I don't know if it's better or worse that he phoned it in, because I kind of appreciate that he didn't try in some way. Like,
well, I already composed this. Like, but even try just use this 3 times.
It's not a good movie anyway. So
no.
Yeah. The directing's not good.
No, it's actually kind of funny at points. Yeah. Like what they're trying to do. There's like a random like wipe in there. Like lots of like, I don't know if they're trying to be like crazy really out there, stylish, like Danny Boyle, but like, so much weird stylistic stuff that like just didn't work. Lots of slow-mo, like another kind of 2007 sort of tropey, like, and not good slow-mo either. Yeah. Like it looks corny, it looks silly.
Choppy, dumb slow-mo. And the fucking flashbacks and the repeats, too. There was a part where the guy, the main dad dude is, like, explaining to his kids, like, I just, I tried to go back for her. She wasn't there. And it's like the flashbacks that are, reminding us of a scene that happened literally like 15 minutes ago, and it was the only other notable thing that happened in the movie. So you didn't need to show it. And then B, they play the same clips multiple times and then slow it down. And it felt like a fucking Tim and Eric sketch where you hear the zombie, like they pitch shifted the zombie noise lower, and it was like, and then, like, it was like, this is comedic. Like, this is really, really bad. And it aged terribly.
Yeah.
So I feel a little vindicated not having been, loved this movie when it was out. It was in my rotation, and I definitely watched it probably like 6 times or something when I was younger, just maybe thinking that I would enjoy it, even though I didn't remember much about it. Now I'm older, and it's not just, I don't remember much about it. It's, this is actively bad. This is actively bad, and I'm glad I'm fucking writing notes and doing a podcast about this so I don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I had a similar experience because I would have been, I don't know, like 13 at the time, zero critical faculty. But there was something like, I didn't watch this one like I watched 28 Days Later. Like, I'd never revisited this since. And yeah, it's clear why. But there's this whole angle I was really curious to know if you'd pick up. The geography in this movie is horrendous.
Incomprehensible.
It's like super, it's so irritating, and it's clearly, well, see if you agree with me on this. It to me, it seemed like they just wanted to use London iconography, but without it making any sense whatsoever.
Oh,
like,
I didn't pick up on that at all, actually.
Yeah. So they're going from kind of landmark to landmark. They're showing Big Ben. They go into Trafalgar Square. They go into various like football stadiums and whatnot. But in a way that, if you looked at like a map from above of like the directions they were going, it's like
doesn't make sense.
They're leaving central London, going back into central London, going to the other side of London, and it's like, what is super annoying, because the first movie's not like that. I wouldn't necessarily bring that up if it wasn't something that betrays that first movie, but the first movie is actually really logical and sensical in the kind of journey they go on across the country. They go all the way up to Manchester in that original.
The first film is so iconic, and there's so much about it that is just ingrained in pop culture that this film feels like kind of a misinterpretation of that. They probably just saw like, oh yeah, so the first film had all these landmarks in London. We just put more landmarks in it, like without really understanding what made it work.
That's what's crazy. There's like a broadness to this movie that seems like it's pandering to an American audience, which is so strange with the like setting, with having Robert Carlyle seemingly as the lead. But then, you have Jeremy Renner and Rose Byrne as these like army soldiers, which I think is also hilarious. Like the way the army is depicted in this movie compared to in 28 Days is like a really funny contrast, because it's very like hoorah in weeks.
It tries to be cool, and like the soundtrack does too. So, which is also why I was kind of surprised to hear that it was John Murphy again. Is there's this really irritating and just gross tone of like, what you're seeing right now, this is modern and it's super cool, and like the soundtrack just really exemplifies that. And so props to John Murphy for understanding what the fucking film was going for and complimenting it.
Yeah,
it's not what I want to hear. Yeah. But damn, like the whole unironic, really boring chatter between the snipers. Really,
I want to screw your wife, dude.
I'm not gay. You're not. You're cool, gay. Man. Maybe I'm the not gayest. It's like basically the whole all the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's they sounded like video game characters kind of when they were like chatting. Like, well, Tango, gotta take him out. And then also like strategically,
like a caricature.
Yeah, strategically, what the fuck? They put all the civilians in a room and turned out the lights.
Why do they do that?
Trapped them in there, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't tell if the civilians are zombos. we're snipers. Everybody's just running.
Yeah.
And then over the radio, they're like, we've lost control. You have permission to shoot civilians now. It's like, well, did you run out of zombies? Like, maybe you want to shoot the zombies first. Or are you just going to shoot everyone?
It makes the US military look like completely incompetent, you know?
Yeah.
Which is another funny contrast. Like, the way they have that building locked down in the original, they've got, like, a perimeter, they've got trip mines. Yeah. They have it pretty much covered. Like, it only goes wrong because of Killian's input, pretty much.
Exactly.
Whereas here, they're like... Yeah, it's the whole force of the US Army. They've got like machine guns, they have million snipers, and it still gets out of control to the point where they've got to like carpet bomb the entirety of central London. All through, everything is like complete ineptitude just because it all happens because of these kids, basically. These kids unravel this whole, the whole army of a
Can't even blame
country,
the kids.
the biggest military in the world.
They're allowing this to happen. If a kid can do that, that's your fault. If you're going to allow the kids to do this, that like this is entirely your fault for not having a properly secured perimeter, and then bringing them back, and then like having the mom not even be like watched. Just the dad that's there kisses her, blah blah blah. Like there's no reason why any of this had to happen, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. And it wouldn't be as bad if it wasn't so excruciatingly slow. Like 30 minutes into the fucking movie. Barely anything has happened. It's just the opening scene and the dad being like, I'm lying about the mom, and that's it. Like they're fucking riding their bikes around London, dicking around doing nothing. We got these fucking like pretend jump scares, the 2 in a row at the helicopter. He's like, boo! He's like, ha, I'm scaring you.
I laughed at the second one. I was like,
the second one was so stupid.
Did it just skip?
Yeah. God, this is a horrendous movie. This is a very bad movie.
So much worse than I remember it being.
Visually, it looks fucking awful. The lighting, the pretend nighttime lighting, where everything's just like, okay, you didn't shoot this at night, and you're just putting like a weird filter over it, pretending it's night.
Again, missing the point of the original like griminess and the scrappiness of it. Like, they were shooting at 4 a.m. They did what they had to. They did what made sense with the like limited nature of the script, but the scope is just too big for what they needed to do. Because they couldn't shoot at night because all the buildings would have lights on. So they had to do this awkward. It was like a new technique for this movie, like shooting in daytime, making it look like nighttime, quote unquote, but it just looks like garbage. Yeah, it's hilarious. It came out 5 years after 28 Days, and it looks so much worse.
Way worse. The effects are terrible.
The original film.
That fucking digital eyeball thing.
Yeah. All the CG, like planes and helicopters.
Oh,
and the smoke and fire looked awful.
Those explosions, when like the fucking, when the streets are blowing up, that reminded me of Twisted Pair. Those awful CG explosions reminded me of Twisted Pair. Like, it's basically that. People loved this movie.
Yeah. That's what was kind of shocking to me.
And there might be some people that still love it. and if you're a person that loves this movie right now, I would recommend watch it again and see if you still feel that way. Because there's things that were acceptable for 2007 maybe that would be fine for the average person. That I don't know if you could show this as a new movie today without it being like clowned on.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it would have the same impact.
Almost double the budget of the original too. Yeah, $15 million budget. Yeah,
this had the excuse of being in 2007. Like it got away with it somehow. Damn,
yeah.
I want to read some of these Metascore critic reviews.
Yeah, do it. Super corny. It is schlock. It's crazy schlock. It's zombie schlock.
Yeah, I don't like. You mentioned the locations. I just hate how I never really get a feel for the environment because everything is just so closely shot. Every shot is just way too tightly framed, and there's no sense of location in the same way as the first film. It doesn't feel like set pieces. It just feels like this mesh, this fucking jello of scenery, and so much of it is at nighttime. And there's nothing, even with different locations that technically happen in this film, everything is just so forgettable. Like there's nothing memorable about any of these locations or anything that happens in any of these locations or how the locations are used and what happens. Like barely anything fucking happens, and the stuff that happens is all insanely boring.
Which is a shame, because like in theory and concept, some of these locations could have really cool, memorable potential. Like when they're underground at the end, like in the old, well, not even the old, just the underground tube lines. Like that, you could do such a cool set piece down there. Like, you know, I keep bringing up The Last of Us, but in The Last of Us Part 2, there's that really memorable set piece that's all like in underground trains, and there's like harsh lighting and all these particles flying around. You could do so much with some of these settings. Like you're in central London, like there's so many different places you could go, and yeah, they just completely squander it. Like the only scene I remembered from this before rewatching it was the sniper dodging scene, which kind of is illuminating in retrospect. It's like, why is that the scene I remember from the zombie
I don't know
movie?
why I always remembered that scene, and it's not even a good scene, but that's just like the barely what I grasped onto in terms of like, if someone were to point a gun to my head and ask me what happened in the movie, that's what I would talk about like 5-10 years ago or however long, like when I was younger and I didn't remember anything about it. Like for some reason that stuck out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me. It's the only thing I remembered. There's a hilarious review here from the Chicago Tribune. Swift, vicious, and grimily imaginative. The zombie film 28 Weeks Later exceeds its predecessor 28 Days Later in every way.
In every way.
88.
Man. And so, yeah, you have all these like little snippet reviews of like actual publications and actual critics. Boston Globe. The script is biting and timely. I'm just trying to think, what about the script is a positive? What about the script is a positive? Out of all the things to pick out about the film and say why you enjoyed it, what about the script can you possibly say is good? Like, I want to know.
I don't think I can remember like a single good line of dialogue where that's what we're talking about for a big chunk of the 28 Days Later. Like loads of memorable lines, loads of great character work, loads of memorable stuff.
The dialogue
there's
is
really
shit.
Nothing.
The pacing sucks. And then the sequence of events is just like dumb. So what about the script? What about
it's just like simple basic stuff. There's no like perspective character. It would be like if 40 minutes into 28 Days Later they killed off Cillian Murphy. It's like, oh, so there's nothing to anchor this around. It's like feels really scatterbrain after they kill the Scottish fella. Like it's just a baffling decision.
Yeah.
There's nothing to anchor the story or like focus on. It's like jumping character to character in a way that doesn't even seem like intentional, like they're trying to do something unique with like passing off the baton to different characters who are like frantically trying to escape the city. It doesn't feel satisfying. It just feels like a bunch of squandered potential, or like everything's just like a waste of time. Like why'd you even do that intro if it's all this like big nihilistic excuse to explain how the virus gets to Paris? It's like kind of like miserable, like where it ends up, you know? It's like not even like a fun adventure. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's insanely boring, basically incomprehensible. I don't understand how I'm supposed to care about anything that's happening the entire movie, because I don't care about the kids. And then the way, like, even in...
No.
I can, as I was watching the movie, I was, like, imagining, being the type of person to think that something's really intense or effective in that movie. So, like, the part where they're all trapped in the room in the dark and the lights go out and stuff. Like, sure, like, conceptually, there's something pretty scary about, you know, oh, zombies are happening and it's all dark. It's dark now. But then, like, I look at how it's filmed. There's like a fucking... It's the same issue with The Descent Part 2, where there's like implied dark, but it's not dark, and there's like a fucking rave party going on in the vents for some reason. I'm like, who's flashing the flashlight around, like just in the vents behind the kid? Like, I guess it's implied that it's supposed to be reflected from something else. Then you have like the night vision scene later in the film where, you know, it's from the perspective of the night vision sniper or whatever. She's like, no, watch out. Step over this dead body. Or they're like going over an escalator. I'm like, that's a good concept for a scene, but then it just
then it just shows
the reverse shot and it shows the sniper's face with real lighting because they couldn't fucking help themselves. And now I'm like, okay, well, it's not pitch black because I can see her face. Why'd you have to show that? You could have done the entire thing from the night vision perspective. That would have been so much more effective. How can they show that in a movie and not understand that ruins the audience's ability to feel as though it's dark when you're showing that it's not?
Yeah.
I guess it worked fine for the
editing kind of trickle out of the tension in that scene just doesn't come together. It's like they're impatient with their own material. They won't let it sit long enough. They just want to rush to Robert Carlyle coming in and killing Rose Byrne. It's like, we haven't even mentioned though, like, we had Robert Carlyle. I don't know what they were trying to do with that character, where once he becomes a zombie, he's like the Don zombie. He's like following them around and then he's like disappearing like Batman.
Yeah, he's in the background of a shot and then he disappears. And it's like, based on everything else that happens in the movie, you can't really tell if that's something that happened in the character's head or if that just really happened.
Yeah.
Like, it could be that dumb that it just really happened.
My interpretation is that it actually did happen. I think that's what he was trying to say, was that he's like following them as a way to try and explain how he's there at the end anyway. Because they carpet bomb the whole city. Like, they show the mother character being eviscerated by the fire, but like he's hiding. That's right. He hides behind a pillar as it's being like carpet bombed.
That's funny.
And he like survives somehow.
He's the smartest zombie.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to say with that.
He has a lot of agency and knows how to plan things, and he only wants to bite like one kid. He's locked onto a target forever, and he knows how to stealth his way to catch them off guard later in the film instead of just running towards them and biting them immediately. He'll bide his time. He'll play the long con, but then doesn't even achieve it anyway because the little boy. They explain through the different eye colors. Clearly, he's also a carrier. So when he's bitten, it's basically a Neil Breen thing too.
True,
you know, like the weird eye thing,
like, secretly was in the background of this.
It's crazy. This is one of the most baffling movies in terms of like audience and critical response being so unanimously positive. And not just when it came out, but a lot of people, like if you look on Reddit, like there's posts in the past like fucking month probably that I've read on like the movie subreddit of people just being like, yeah, 28 weeks later, it's like better than the first. Or like, what a great sequel. It's one of the few great sequels or something. Like it's horrendous. Like it's really, really bad. It's not even just like, oh, this is not for me. This is embarrassing. It's like really pathetic.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not sure if I've had such a like extreme dissonance with how a film sat in my memory and then like revisiting it like a decade later, it's like, oh my God, this is like hilariously bad. It's not just like forgettable. It's like actually like embarrassing. It really sucks, especially when you're contrasting it with like watching it right after 28 days later. And yeah, it has aged so well and there's like so much to appreciate. And then you like load to this and it's like, oh, this is really trapped in 2007. This is really aged poorly. Another one of these reviews saying, this might be the man to adapt Cormac McCarthy's post-apocalyptic novel, The Road. What? What are you talking about? Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, there's a real disconnect there.
Very bizarre. And I'm looking for these actual full reviews so I can get their full perspective, and they're just like gone. The Chicago Tribune one, Michael Phillips. Click on the link, it just doesn't show up. You try to look at it in Google, it doesn't show up. So
it's too old.
It's one of those things where like, I guess they weren't publishing, it wasn't that common to be publishing that material online in the first place in 2007.
No.
So maybe they just
find scans of the papers or whatever.
Yeah, we'd have to find scans of the papers, you're right. I don't know. Why would they remove that? It was that online at any point? I'm looking for like any one of these reviews, and they're all real critics. Like I've seen the name A.O. Scott before. Michael Phillips, Chicago Tribune, yeah. Like these are real.
Well, yes, like Entertainment Weekly, Variety, Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah. So they're all showing up like 404 page not found, like every single one of these. I don't know if that's a thing that generally happens in movies from like 2008 when you try to find the
It's that awkward period where the documentation just isn't up to snuff.
Yep. Yeah, what else do we say about it? It's genuinely horrendous. It's genuinely like shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
at first, I was trying to appreciate it in ways and be like, yeah, this is, yeah, people like this. I remember kind of digging this. People, it's got good meta scores, got lots of like high ratings, and then just over time, you kind of start laughing at it. Like I was losing it at that helicopter scene. It's like, this is like the dumbest shit. This is so ridiculous. This is missing the point.
Yeah. I was looking at some of these reviews after I was doing my watch along stream, and I opened up one of them. You sort by like 10 out of 10 on the IMDb user reviews. Oh, here I found it. Here,
Yeah.
there we go. 10 out of 10. So October 2007. This one, I love this one. 10 out of 10. 28 weeks later, the best horror film ever made. 28 weeks later is the best horror film ever. If you disagree, you are a thick, clueless idiot. You have serious issues, and you should consider killing yourself. And I hate you.
Oh my God. Oh, that's like a flashback to the old West internet. Nice.
Oh yeah, I love IMDb reviews. But you know what? People shit on IMDb, but you get like earnest things there, right? I would rather have this like just a window into someone's very sad mind than for every fucking top review to just be like, I pooped my pants. Like some meme. Like that's what Letterboxd is to me. Like everybody's just like the most disingenuous, like no one's being earnest, and it's like even if you are, then you're not even gonna get seen on the website because people are just voting fucking memes.
Yeah, those IMDb reviews, they capture the zeitgeist better than these critic ones. At least they're still there.
Yeah. If I want to understand, or at least attempt to understand what people were thinking at one point in time, or what people think about a particular film, you can get that from the IMDb reviews. A lot of 10 out of 10 ratings on this one. A lot of 10 out of 10 reviews. A lot of people saying it's like better than the first. And yeah, I don't get it. It's not, the writing sucks. It sucks. Mm-hmm. They could have made it better if there was a scene where they brought back Cillian Murphy and then he built like a bomb and then Jeremy Renner had to defuse it. Then that would have probably made it better.
They'll do that in 28 months later.
Yeah.
The like nostalgia cash grab version. Apparently Danny Boyle's like still interested in doing that.
They all keep teasing. Every single one of them. Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, and Cillian Murphy. They'll be asked about it in an interview and they're like, well, if the other ones want to do it, I'll do it. But, you know. And then like you just never hear them making actual plans to do it.
Yeah.
We're coming up to the point in time, like in real time, like what, 2030 will be 28 years after the first film. So you never know.
That's when to do it.
That would, if there's a time, that's the time. 28 years later, I don't know.
Yeah, man. They need Alex Garland though. Like Danny Boyle's a very talented director, but he needs that script in there too. He needs that screenplay.
Does Alex Garland still do screenplays for other people, or is he just doing his own?
I think he mostly does his own thing.
Like, I wonder what would happen if he directed it instead of Danny.
True. Yeah, I could get down with that. I like his work a lot, actually.
Yeah,
Scotland. I always want to check out his stuff.
It could be an interesting direction, and surely after the fucking existing sequel, A Breath of Fresh Air,
there has to be an idea for the story, because it really feels like to me they had the title first and then worked backwards.
Of course.
Yeah, 28 weeks later. That's genius. How do we make that work? How do we make that happen? Apparently, like Garland's one bit of input was in the opening kind of montage where it's saying, after this many weeks, this happened. After this, yeah, that's like the one bit he added.
I still have that soundtrack in my mind. It's not great. I think I liked the score a lot more when I was younger. I think I liked the score, but now it's just like, yeah, very dated and very overly cool and just fuck.
Well, it's because when you're young, it's just cool, like you love the original, and then there's just more of that thing you love. So it doesn't even really matter its quality. You're just gonna. It's the sequel, so it's more of it. It's cool. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, this was crazy rewatching. Like I was quite shocked by how it missed the point.
It was an stinky
entirely. Every single good thing about Days is like misinterpreted and not able to be reimagined or expanded on in any meaningful way. It's all like quite the inverse, actually. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
These people out there, rewatch this. Yeah, rewatch this if you remember it like we do, or how the critics do, or whatever. It's quite a strange experience that I haven't really had.
Yeah.
I can't even think of another time where, to this degree anyway. Like, I've had movies I've liked as a kid and been like, well, that was, like it's like the Bionicle movie or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, there aren't critics saying it's like an 8 out of 10 or whatever,
10 out of 10.
This is something different.
Praising the writing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to collectively sit down and rewatch this film.
Yeah, everybody.
Especially after rewatching the original. Like, rewatch the original, rewatch this film.
Yeah.
Let me know if you still feel that way. Leave a comment. I'm very fascinated by what in this movie isn't like absolute dog shit, other than maybe parts of the opening scene or something. So 2 out of 10. Fucking gigantic turd. It's so bad. It's horrendous. It's genuinely horrendous.
I'm struggling to even justify giving it a 2, because it is like, I did not understand the assignment, Like, Jesus Christ. This might be a half star for me, honestly. Like,
nice.
It was really shocking. Like, how kind of inept it was. All the wrong decisions, all the wrong focus points. Yeah. Aged horribly. Looks horrible. Bad script. All the set pieces are like skimmed over or not focused or memorable. The geography is just, God, that was bugging me. It's just like, what? How they jumping? What? Where are they going? Why are they doing that? This doesn't make any sense. How are they at Trafalgar Square now? How are they by the Tate Modern right now? It felt really like pandering, to a broad audience that the original didn't feel like it needed to do. Yeah, putting in those flashbacks, putting in all this stuff that's like, oh, the audience won't remember that scene from half an hour ago. All this kind of stuff. Like, man, nah, go away. Terrible.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna forget about everything in this movie in a week. But now
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, it's so forgettable. And I've seen this movie, I swear this is like the 7th time I've seen it. But when I'm younger and I don't remember anything about a movie, I had a bit more naivete or optimism, or I was not as experienced in my own experience. But now I know pretty confidently, if there's something that I know I watched when I was younger and I can't remember anything about it, it might be fucking boring. It might be because it's really bad. Depending on the movie, I guess. But fuck. Yeah, terrible, terrible bad.
Yeah, really, really disappointed by that.
I have a note in my notes that says random crank zoom shot on a house for no reason in the middle of the motorbike scene. Do you remember that part?
Oh yeah.
There's just like they zoom in on a random house in the middle of a scene for no reason. It's like, is that you thinking that you're emulating Danny Boyle's style? Just like a random crank zoom shot that has nothing to do with the rest of the scene that you're filming?
There are a lot of moments like that where it's like, stylistically strange. Like the wipe is the craziest one to me.
Editing is just incomprehensible.
That really slow wipe. This is like, what? This tonally is very strange.
That was one of the funniest moments.
Yeah.
So bad. All right, question time. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do a couple questions here from the Sardonicast community. Head over to the suggestion thread over on the subreddit, where I'll leave a little thread where you can ask us anything you fancy, just like SGT_flatbread did. I'm curious to get your opinion on this one, because I missed this, because I think this news dropped while I was in Toronto and we were at TIFF. So, on the topic of Sam Levinson being a hack, did you guys know that he actually took over the role of director on Euphoria from Petra Collins, a young artist and photographer? She's now coming out saying he ripped off a majority of her ideas and is pawning them off as his own. She apparently did a majority of the pre-production for the first season, and then before shooting was forced to step down by HBO with the reason given being her lacking experience. Comparing Euphoria to Collins' artwork, I personally feel it shows Levinson stole a lot of the show's visual style from her artwork as well. Thoughts? Also, I love the podcast. Been a fan since episode 1. Thanks for all the laughs and entertainment, boys. So I can send you an article here, and I've got the quote that is going around, or was going around the other day from her. It was from an interview with Punk'd. So this is her quote, right? I tell you the truth about that series that was never told. I never talked about this publicly because it's such a crazy thing, but basically the reason I moved to LA was because Sam Levinson, who directed the show, he reached out to my agency and told, I wrote a show based on your photos. Will you direct it? So I moved to LA and worked for HBO for about 5 months. I was like, I am directing the show. I created a whole world for it. I did the casting, whatever, and the last minute HBO was like, we're not hiring you because you're too young. And that I was like, fine, okay, thank you so much. They won't take my version of the show, obviously. I was so naive. They'll just do another one. So it was fine. I learned a lot. It was interesting. And a year later, I walked out of my apartment. I walked out of my apartment and see this billboard, and it's exactly what I am, a copy of my work. I started crying. I was so shocked. I mean, it happens to me so many times in my career, but not on a scale like that. It was so intense to me because this is the aesthetic that I've built all my life. And now I have to change it because it enters the mainstream and it's been taken away from me. The worst thing was when people were unknowingly saying this show looks like my photos. That sucks.
Suspicious.
That really sucks. Yeah. It's you know, it's not like a new thing for Hollywood / entertainment for, you know, these people. They pitch a script or something, some idea, some concept, and then they're let down, and then like a year later they see it's been just completely aped or stolen or whatever. But it's quite an egregious one. Joining this pile of Sam Levinson dramas, of course, hot off the Idol. I guess it's now okay to be dropping this kind of stuff. Yeah, really unfortunate if what she's saying is true.
Yeah, I'll have to, I would want to dig into it. Right now, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm willing to believe it because Sam Levinson's just such a fucking hack anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing, where it's like the evidence that's piling up.
Yeah, when I'm already looking for an explanation as to how he could have created something good and then everything else is shit, then it kind of just like, it fits that sort of, it's creating a narrative that I want to believe.
Yeah, because you thought, that first season's standing out more and more.
Yeah, I would have to look at some comparisons and stuff. And also just, the fact that she worked on it. It's not like, oh, there's a lion in the jungle. You made a show and then there's a lion in the jungle there. And there's also other animals. Like, this isn't just a wild, like, oh, this is being created tons of places in the world. This is like, oh, you had an actual involvement on it, and now someone else's name is on it, basically. So who knows how much of it's his or hers, but wow, it sounds like kind of unsurprising and annoying.
And all you have to do is, if you just search like Petra Collins, look on Google Images, like, definitely these photographs, this styling is very, there's a lot of overlap for sure. As far as like that visual presentation, especially if she did that much like pre-production work on it, like, man, that really sucks for her.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But hopefully, with her coming out and saying this, she gets to kind of reclaim her style and be able to do more and maybe get some actual projects. So that's so that makes things so extra bizarre because of him and taking over, replacing Amy Seimetz's vision on The Idol.
True, yeah.
So now it's like, okay, is this just what he does? Kind of like,
and just
shows up and says he's in charge, or like HBO is willing to put him in charge or something, and
born to the right father, so and then just man. Let's do this one from LVS Gators. Adam, now that you're visiting Atlanta more, as an Atlanta native, what's your favorite thing about the city?
Plastic straws.
Plastic straws.
Oh, well, because everywhere in Canada, we're trying to be like, oh, we're going to do paper straws. It's like
we're on the paper
to like
straw
pretend
thing.
we're making a difference. And
all the straws in Toronto were plastic from memory.
Not all of them. There were some. The Starbucks had the paper ones, and then some of the. But I think there was maybe like one bar that had plastic straws, and then a bunch of them. Fuck, what was that really good bar called? That place had metal straws. I'm going to shout out the name of this bar. I'm just going to find it.
Oh, that was cool. Phone. Yeah, find the name. The one without a menu.
Civil Liberties. Really great cocktails there.
Yeah.
Fantastic bar. Shouting out Civil Liberties. They had metal straws. That was cool. And then I think a bunch of places did this kind of like biodegradable plastic, but not plastic sort of thing, like hybrid. I don't know. In Vancouver, there's too many places with paper straws. It pisses me off. We got to move away from that. Like, I get it. We want to pretend we're doing something for the environment, but like at a certain point, it's just like, what? We saw one video of a turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? There's clearly better options if I don't know. We need something better than paper. If we want to get rid of plastic straws, we need something better than paper.
Is that really your favorite thing about the city?
Well, here's the thing. I need to explore more about the city. So far, I have had a good time. Surprisingly gay in Atlanta. You wouldn't think that for
I wouldn't expect that.
American South, but it's a capital city of the state, Georgia. So all the more liberal or more divergent or queer people will probably congregate in the cities. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about. I'm like a foodie, and there's some restaurants that I've really enjoyed here. Ooh, I like that there's grits. I like grits. You can't find good grits in Canada. Seafood's pretty good. There's a fun American excessiveness that I'm not sure if I love.
What's in terms of food or
like in terms of food and like portions and like what the food is and like everything's fried and everything's greasy and it's like I like to have healthy options. And there's some healthy options here and there.
I like that now and again, but doesn't it just make you feel like sick after a while?
Yeah, everybody's kind of just used to it and everybody's just I guess expecting to die early. And that's fine for everybody.
I guess that's one way to live. Yeah.
I need to a lot of my time spent here has just been fucking watching movies and stuff anyway. Like I need to explore more in the city. There's a nice kind of like indie theater. The Plaza Atlanta is like the theater for stuff like you'd find the Neil Breen film there and some lesser known things. That's nice. Yeah, I got to do a bit more exploring. So,
okay, let's do a couple more here. Like this one from Bong Sucker. Do you have any thoughts on the overwhelming success of the One Piece live action or plans to watch it? Personally, I'm a bit in shock at how well it's being received across the board, having now broken the previous Netflix record held by Wednesday and Stranger Things as the most popular debut show on the platform. I can't think of any other live action adaptation, anime or otherwise, that has this level of praise. I really don't think it's much better than the average live action adaptation, aside from the 150 million that went into making some impressive sets, but I'm clearly in an extreme minority. I'm wondering how much this will fuel the trend for future live action adaptations and curious what you think of the situation. See, I'm so put off the idea of One Piece just because of how long that fucking story is. I mean, it's like 1,000+ episodes.
I was gonna say.
I remember trying when I was a kid and just like,
it's just gonna get canceled before it's concluded. It's like you're never gonna catch up.
Yeah, are they gonna condense this?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Maybe I'll watch an episode because I'm a little bit curious. Because like everyone instantly poo-pooed the Cowboy Bebop Netflix show, and it was bad. I watched like an episode of that. But yeah, the fact people are actually enjoying this, that is interesting. But I don't know. Maybe it's a huge fan base, that One Piece. That they are tenacious, those One Piece fans. So I don't know if there's just enough of them to carry it or what. I also kind of want to see it. Might be creepy because the main character is like made out of rubber, right? You're like stretches like.
I don't know anything about
fantastic.
I haven't seen the original and I don't know anything about this shit.
There might be some stretchy, funny thingies going on, but I don't know. Would you ever give it a shot? How many episodes has it got?
I mean, it's
9. It's only 9 episodes right now.
I don't know. I can't make any promises.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'm not going to promise right now, but I might check out an episode and see what we're talking about. Any interesting directors on here? Just looking at episode 1. Mark Jobst directed it. Okay, director of Daredevil, I like that. Director of Hannibal, I like that. Okay, maybe I will. But yeah, I just am off put. It's like it's too much, man. There's too much One Piece. I know people love it, but man,
yeah, what's the point? Like, if you're, what's the point of the live action adaptation if it's never the actors won't live long enough to see the end of the series? Like, what are you done 10 episodes? You're 1% of the way there, and the other show's still going.
I wonder how much season 1 like covers, like percentage wise, of what is already out there.
Yeah, maybe they condensed it.
If it's like less than 5%, like I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can get on with that. Maybe there's a bunch of filler arcs in the original or something. But
yeah, maybe. And then you just have to wonder, like, how much of the story even matters beyond a certain point. Like, people are still watching One Piece, right? Like, people are still watching it. The anime.
Yeah, it's still coming out, right? It doesn't have an ending.
Never end.
Oh man,
it could just keep going. I don't know how to feel about that. It's kind of it's too intimidating to ever start.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling.
Fucking, it's taken me, like, just a regular TV show will often take me fucking months to get through, just because I'm so busy with shit.
I just borrowed the anime Berserk off a friend. I'd rather check that out first. I know that's it's got an ending, at least as far as there's only a couple seasons or something. So, yeah, I'd sooner watch that, to be honest, than start getting down the One Piece train.
Yeah, I don't. It's just way too. I can't. You can't do it right now. Call me when I'm not this busy in fucking 30 years.
Should we end on this one from Humane Sadness over here? Saying, Gaspar Noé famously said watching Gravity while high on Ket was the best cinematic experience of his life.
Oh, shit.
What is your best cinematic experience? That probably would be mad. I've got to say, with all the shit I've been talking about Aggro Drift, it's definitely probably up there, if I'm being 100% honest. That was like a very good cinematic experience. Not because, and hardly even because of the movie, you know. Just super memorable, like the energy of the crowd. Yeah. Just pretty much anything I've seen at midnight or like later, where people are already a little bit like wasted. It's like a certain energy to it.
Yeah, the right type of movie in that environment.
It's not ruining it. Yeah, exactly. That energy is hard to match.
Yeah, Wakaliwood at TIFF, that was epic. They all showed up.
Oh yeah, so jealous. So jealous.
Did the Midnight Madness. We got a live VJ Emmy doing the VJing for the movie. That was fucking. It was incredible.
So jealous of that one. That sounds so golden.
Yeah, that'd be great if it could just happen again at some point. Who knows?
They'll do another film, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'd be great for it to be at TIFF. Just the live VJ Emmy was so great.
Well, he was just sat on stage just the whole time.
He was like off to the side, I think.
Oh, okay.
He was on the mic or whatever. I don't remember how they set it up, but it was.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a memorable, very valuable theater experience. I've had, if we're going to go like Gaspar Noé, high on Gravity, I wonder if he watched that in the theaters on ketamine.
Wouldn't be surprised.
And also, ketamine like doesn't last the whole length of a movie, I don't think. You'd have to just keep re-upping. You'd have to bring ketamine into the movie theater, unless he watched it at home.
Yeah, I don't know the context fully on this one, I'm afraid.
K-hold.
He's in the K-hole for Gravity.
That's an interesting thing to say. Gaspar is so funny.
Yeah, he's such a character.
Yeah. I love weirdos.
Well, Gravity is only short, an hour and a half. Yeah,
it's only an hour and a half. I wonder if I'll revisit that one. Wouldn't be a bad podcast recommendation in the future.
True. It's just just not crazy about Sandra Bullock, but it is very well made from memory.
Yeah, there's another experience that I had with a movie that I'm going to talk about in a video. Hopefully, that's out by the end of the year, but I don't know. I'm trying to find the right way to say it, and I'm trying to find the time to do it justice.
Yeah, the right vocabulary.
I've just been fucking recording all my TIFF shit this week. Trying to get some videos out before the month ends, and then I'm at VIF really soon, and then maybe some time at the end of October and November. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure things out. I'm fine with one more question if you want to do one more.
Okay, let me find a good one to end on then.
Okay,
this one's kind of interesting. Bruh Frozone. What film would be improved by making it longer? I got an answer for this being Blackberry. Like I thought it was very well paced, but when it wrapped up, I was like, I could watch another half an hour of that. I feel like I could easily have sat through more of that. It's because it sticks in my mind because it's such a rare thought for me to have. Like, I wish there was more of that. Like, I wish that was longer. Like yeah.
Apparently that's getting like a longer release.
Yeah, so hearing on the J episode him saying that there's like a TV cut with like more stuff in. Was like,
that'll be
okay, that's cool. Like that will probably scratch that itch. Yeah,
I feel this way about when I watched the original Little Mermaid. There's like this point in time with the Disney Renaissance stuff where they made movies really short. And things probably could have been fleshed out a bit more, purely because animation is just so expensive.
And time consuming. Yeah.
So something like that.
Yeah, I started rewatching that movie the other day actually because I watched the Disney one. The remake.
Current Disney.
The other night. Yeah, new Disney, and was like, oh man, I got to flush this out of my brain a little bit. So yeah, I put on the original. It's like, oh, this rocks. This is like, the music's awesome. The visuals are great. Yeah, I need to finish that still, but yeah, that's an interesting one. They are so brief.
Yeah. Every year there'll be something where I'm like, man, you could have just kept that going and I would have kept watching it. But I at the end of the day, I also recognize it's better to have something short and sweet that you want more out of than for something to overstay its welcome. Because you can just watch the movie again.
Definitely.
If you really want more, you can just watch the movie again. But when something's too long, then it kind of like harms the experience a bit in ways where, you almost want like a different edit and things to be cut out.
The short version, yeah. Yeah, be careful what you wish for, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like Aggro Drift could have been longer. No.
Yeah, double the runtime.
Aggro Drift was already 30 times what the runtime probably should have been. At 80 minutes, I think we probably would have gotten like a good 3-minute movie out of it. Like literally, they could have just made a music video. It would have been great.
The Travis Scott music video would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. If I think of another one in the future, then I'll let you know.
Hell yeah.
But I guess that's about it. We did it. Thank you.
Nice.
We have a guest next episode, and our guest recommended a film.
What are we talking about?
It's our guest is Papa Meat.
Yeah.
And it's as in Meat Canyon, whatever we want to call this meat boy.
Meat boy.
Yeah. A superb meat boy, Papa Meat. He's recommending Videodrome, which
cool.
Honestly seems appropriate given his animation.
Yep.
To do some Cronenberg. There is a director's cut, and that's what he's recommending. Apparently it's a slight difference. I haven't seen this movie in fucking forever, so it'll be like I'm experiencing it pretty fresh. I think I've only seen it once, and it was a long time ago, so...
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Okay, here we go. All right.
I couldn't even remember a rating or anything. Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
Excited to talk about it. So if anybody listening hasn't seen Videodrome or doesn't want to be spoiled for David Cronenberg's Videodrome, 1983 director's cut, watch it before the next episode comes out. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. I had a yawn that's like fucking coming out here. Hold on. Just gotta get it out.
Get
I
that
have
shit
to
out,
fucking
yeah.
nap after this. I'm sorry. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. You can listen to these episodes early. Go to Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. It's only $2 a month. Also, patreon.com/Sardonicast will get you the same thing. You can support the show, feel good about yourself, listen to the thing, and we keep talking about it.
Listen to the thing.
We're gonna start doing some fucking sponsorship ads or whatever, sponsored bits. We're still working that out. We're still figuring it out. We're very busy.
We're looking.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing that. And if you don't like hearing those things, you want to sign up for premium because those will be ad free. Those will not have those in it. Premium or the Patreon one. What else am I saying? I'm so tired. We got merch. Merch links in the description. Sardonicast highlights channel. That's on YouTube. Have a happy Videodrome.
Happy Berg, Cronenberg.
Yeah. I'm sorry I ran out of energy. I'm just so tired. I didn't get enough sleep.
You're allowed to do that in the outro.
I'm trying my best, everybody. Whatever, that was fun. Thanks for listening or watching or both, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.